Hi, I'm Wendell Quisenberry, the Athletic Director at Crandon High School. The following is a video to inform you of the rules and procedures that every Crandon Cardinal is expected to follow. Each parent and athlete will be required to fill out and sign all the required forms listed on this slide. Each student must be in attendance at school for a full day on the day of an activity or practice in order to participate or be a spectator. Exceptions may be granted for family emergencies or prearranged absences. For medical appointments or other appointments, official written verification of the time and location of the appointment may be required. All participants must travel to and from out-of-town school activities by school-provided transportation only. Exceptions must be prearranged with the principal. If parents or guardians are present at an out-of-town event, the parent or guardian may request permission from the coach and provide written documentation. Any student who is injured during an activity or contest must report the injury to the coach or the director as soon as possible. All detentions must be made up before a student may practice or participate in any extracurricular activity. Students have a 24-hour grace period from the time the detention was assigned before suspension is enforced. A student who is under suspension for any reason may not dress for games or participate in any pregame activities. This includes wearing warm-up or game jerseys on game nights. A student must be doing passing work in all subjects and may have no incompletes at the quarter grading period. All incompletes shall be removed or satisfied within 2 weeks to regain eligibility. Students with one failing grade will be required to practice during their suspension period. Students who do not regain eligibility at the date of eligibility notices are no longer eligible for team membership and may no longer practice with the team. Students with 2 or more failures may not practice for the entire 9-week period. The reinstatement procedure, as well as all scholastic requirements, is outlined on page 8 of the activity code. Violations of training rules are to include but are not limited to the purchase, possession, or use of performance-enhancing substances, alcoholic beverages, illegal drugs, illegal use of controlled substances, inhalants, or tobacco products, or the lookalikes of any of these. Other immoral or unacceptable conduct contrary to the ideals, principles, and standards of the School District of Crandon. Refusal to show suspected possession will be considered as possession and penalties will be applied. Crandon does have a mere presence policy. The mere presence policy states that students choosing to participate in co-curricular activities are subject to a set of good conduct rules. These rules prohibit students from consuming, acquiring, delivering, or transporting alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, and from being in settings where the aforementioned substances are present. This policy shall not be applied to recognized and established religious practices. These rules are listed and explained on page 9 of the Athletic Code. Any person may report a violation. The process of reporting a violation will involve making the accusation to the principal and/or designee, or coach or director of the activity. After an alleged violation is reported, the principal or designee will make inquiries concerning the incident. Reporting of violations must be within 15 working days of the observed violation. Once a violation has been reported, the principal will meet with the student within 5 days to determine the training violations. The parent or guardian will be contacted before the penalty has been imposed. The student and guardian will be informed in writing of the nature of the accusation and the penalty. The student will also be informed of the right to appeal. The appeals process is outlined on page 13 of the Athletic Code. If a participant is involved in a violation of training rules, the school has a responsibility to not only discipline, but also to require assessment. Assessment will be required at all levels of training rule violations. A school-approved agency will be responsible for assessment of the extent of the problem, determining appropriate treatment, and prescribing the length of the treatment period. Participants who have a violation with tobacco products will be assessed by the school nurse, who will determine the appropriate treatment and prescribe the length of the treatment period. On any assessment, the participant must make an appointment with the assessing agency or assessing psychologist, whichever applies, within 5 working days after receiving the suspension letter. If the participant does not make the appointment with the assessing agency or psychologist within 5 working days, the suspension will be increased by the number of days delayed in making the appointment. A complete list of the participant's responsibilities can be found on page 11 of the Athletic Code. Penalties for rule infractions are: for the first offense, suspension from 1/3 of the regular scheduled contests or events. An assessment will be required. Second offense is suspension from 2/3 of the regularly scheduled contests or events, and also assessment will be required. Third and subsequent offenses will be 1 calendar year suspension, which is 12 months from the date of the penalty, and will also require further assessment. A student will not be allowed to participate during the appeals process until a decision or ruling by the school board. Decisions or rulings by the school board will be effective immediately. The purpose of the appeal is to determine if the procedures outlined in the athletic code were followed properly. The school board's rule will be to review the procedure leading to the administration's decision. If the school board determines that the procedures were not followed, then the suspension may be overturned. A full list of the appeal procedures are outlined on page 13 of the Athletic Code. If you have any questions, concerns, or need further clarification on anything discussed in this video or outlined in the Athletic Code, please contact me by calling the high school office.